Welcome back, everyone. It's New Mutator. Thanks again for joining me. And I figured I might as well just finish up these films here. I'm watching week 6, I believe, of Myth Kickballers. This is the week that I kind of casted while I was playing and didn't do so great. But yeah, so this is game 3, I believe, between Kruniak and Giant Killer General. Hold on, what's going on? There we go. So yeah, we have Kruniak here in the south. He's going to be the manly purple color. He's got Mercredon, he's got DAC, he's got myself, HW, Sasper, Rower, and Shadow. That's going to be rounding out his team for this game, and perhaps for the future games, I might add. Giant Killer General going to be in the north as black color here. I don't think he's ever been a color other than black. I might be mistaken, but from what I remember, I think that's the only color he's ever been. He's got Kirk, he's got Dom, Sam the Butcher, Kramisi, Professional Killer, Thor, and Funky. So that's going to be his team for this game. Once again, it's Grilling Grounds. It's not very imaginative map pick at all by any stretch of the imagination. I think all of these maps and slash game types have been played in previous kickball weeks, so not a whole lot of imagination going on in terms of map picks, but hopefully we can see something in terms of strategy, but I doubt that we'll see that either. I think it's going to be my impression of this particular week was that the most important thing is player skill for these captains, so I think they're going to try to minimize the role of pretty much everything else and just try to win on skill alone, which you can do, and these players often do, but I don't know if that's like the only thing at work here. Sometimes things happen kind of spontaneously that you don't plan, and you have to be able to respond to that. Although someone could argue that that's a skill in itself, that's not necessarily like a clicking kind of skill. That can be just like a strategic kind of awareness or something like that. So it's a little bit less tangible, I guess I would say. But yeah, we're not really going to see a whole lot of that. I think we're just going to be seeing kind of the standard strategies here. I think both these players having near identical trades on this map. Yeah, except Giant Killer General taking a dwarf and Kruniak not taking any dwarves and taking 3 extra warriors instead. So we can see that here. That's going to be the main difference. Other than that, it's going to be identical. And the strategies are probably also going to be identical, with the main force moving into the mid here. Probably doing a little bit of dancing around, trying to get some position, and trying to probe each other's weaknesses, I guess I would say, and then also sending scouts to the sides to make sure there's no funny business going on, and just keeping things making sure nothing's really out of the ordinary. And it is capture the flag, so each team going to be leaving some units on the flag, presumably these warriors for both teams. Yeah, looks like Giant Killer General going to leave Dom on defense. I guess he doesn't trust him as much as some of his other players. Now, you remember that I had some funny business happening. Where was I? I was mid. I had a couple of units. I had like this guy. No, not that guy. I had this guy. And then, I forget what else I had. A couple of these guys maybe. But, yeah, I wasn't really able to accomplish a whole lot this game, if you recall watching me. So I'm not going to really dwell on me. I'm going to look at some of these other players. We got Professional Killer down here. Actually kind of in the northwest, I should say. I'm all turned around. We got Kirk and we got Thor in the mid here. We got HW and Rower opposite. And myself and Dak on Warlocks. Thor's going to try microing his own Warlocks. And then we got Kramisi up against, looks like Shadow. And then Kruniak and Giant Killer General taking the Tro. No surprise there. And you know what? I'm going to get rid of the of this and zoom out just a little bit so we can see some bird's eye action here. So HW, I think, ends up taking some hits on his stuff. Although, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I can't really remember what happened, to be honest. But yeah, we got Merc opposite Professional Killer. So basically what we have is like a heavy mid for each team, and then, you know, kind of single player flanks on each side that can kind of go opposite each other, but also can take pot shots off on the mid simultaneously if they so desire. Plus the Tro, what they're doing is they're kind of playing a shadow game where they're just trying to make sure that each other stays out of the fray, and at the same time they don't want to take a lot of hits from these archers, because archers can kind of whittle down the Tro's health. There is no way to heal these Tro. Looks like Carmisi lost a unit here, one of his archers, and I think I heard a Warlock go down somewhere. Looks like Rauer lost a couple of his archers, another archer taken out there. So I think one Warlock was taken out on this side. So this is what I think is happening here. Since we have Thor kind of micromanaging archers and a Warlock, and you know, Professional Killer, he's over here, but instead of having like Dom having, you know, using Thor's Warlock and trying to micromanage that, we have him trying to use that in connection with his archers. And wow, that Warlock actually got sniped there by, I'm guessing, that Berserk with Mercadon's archers as well. So that's 2 Warlocks down, and Thor's going to try to get another shot up. So what I'm thinking is, you know, perhaps by not having somebody independently micromanaging that Warlock, that kind of put Giant Killer General's team at a disadvantage. Although I'm not really too sure. You know, because right there he took a few hits where, and you know, that might not necessarily pan out, because I think Dak had a Warlock and that got sniped, even though I think he didn't have archers or anything like that. So you can still lose that even though you're micromanaging it really intensely. It sometimes still happens. Like here I am taking a bunch of hits and I'm like, oh geez, I have to be careful. But we do have a Warlock edge at this point. I'm going to pull this up momentarily. As you can see here, we are up about 13%. And I think that's mostly due to just being up in Warlocks. And you know, maybe we have an archer advantage as well. At this point, yeah. No, we definitely have an archer advantage. Look at this. There's like hardly anybody here mid. And it looks like Kirk is going to be driven back by Dak, and looks like Kruniak is starting to make a move here. He wants to kick that archer really badly. He does so and backs away. He wants to ensure that we have a range advantage no matter what, so that we can pressure them, put the pressure on them and not have it be the other way around. Now this is where I have to be really careful, because this guy here, Thor, it has his sights set on me. And I'm trying to like run around, but at the same time I'm like busy doing something else, and boom, I get sniped while this is happening. Bunch of stuff happening here in the fray. We are still up about 14%, and that's increasing just a little bit. We do have some archers, so it looks like Giant Killer General's kind of in a bad position. Like I mentioned while watching this game, that was a beautiful shot by Sasper, who was micromanaging that Warlock. He didn't have archers. And but that was kind of a nice return shot by, I don't know who that was, that Carmisi? And I think that was on HW. Still, that's not really enough, since Giant Killer General lost both his Tro. And Kruniak lost one of his Tro, but
Flag.
he still has his almost full health Tro. So that's going to be...
5 minutes remaining.
I don't know. If I was part of this force, I would be really scared right now. Because, first of all, you have no melee left. It's all completely gone. This is all you have. Second of all, well, actually, you have two berserks left. But, you know, these guys can rush in, take you out with, you know, some melee over here. So, like, these guys, these berserks can run in. There's like 5 or 6 of them over here, plus 3 of them over here, plus a Tro. So there's nothing that this can do against that. I would have tried to retreat kind of a while ago. Maybe like some kind of rear guard, you know, where you try to keep that Tro from running in. But as it is, barely able to take the Tro's health down to maybe, I don't know, what do you think, 40%? And all that's left is this one Warlock, Kermisi, trying to phone home. There's not a whole lot happening here. If you remember, I had these, I was giving those warriors on the flag. At least Dom dropped his satchels. That's probably the smartest thing. I think Kruniak is trying to kick that dwarf in case it did have satchels. Maybe take out all those warriors with it.
Flag contested.
Kermisi going to try to kind of a last-ditch effort there. He ends up surviving for now, but there he is. He's taken out by some archers. And these warriors are all that's left. Dom, I don't know. I would have walked off the flag because he's just going to lose everything. He does manage to stone that Tro, so that's pretty cool for him. But yeah, that was it for Game 3. Kind of a interesting game. HW doing a surprising amount of damage, 110. Kruniak with 138. And Giant Killer General with 128. So those are going to be the 3 highest figures there. Like I said, I hardly did anything. Rower actually... So these were our 2 mid guys, and then Kruniak is our Tro guy. And between them, they managed to actually do quite a lot. And everyone else on our team actually did pretty okay too, except for Shadow and Dak, and myself. We didn't manage to do all that much, but then again, we didn't have like a whole lot of I don't know. We had kind of more or less expendable units. I don't want to say expendable because nothing's really expendable in the game, but they weren't like the most valuable units, such as, you know, Tro, or I don't know. I guess Shadow had archers, but I guess he didn't do so bad. But Dak and myself didn't do so hot, and we didn't have archers. So there you have it. Yeah, that's that's gonna be it for game number 3. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in game number 4.
Team eliminated. Game over.